Well, good afternoon and welcome to Birmingham on this lovely Wednesday day and the conference Every Child Has Talent. There we are. We're live. It's me. So, the core messages of the next 3 days are about entrepreneurial spirit, about creativity, new technologies, and over the next 20 minutes I'm going to be talking about enterprise education, and that encompasses the 3 core messages. And I suppose as a businesswoman I'm going to bring to you the entrepreneur in the room. So my presentation is called Ahead of the Curve, which I'll be explaining to you over the next 5 minutes. Before I start anything, before I dive off into any project, spend any time, invest any money, I always ask, so what? What is the point of it and why are we doing it? So before I tell you the detail of what we've been doing on Enterprise, working with the schools network, why are we doing it? What's the need for it? I think every single person in this room knows that all you have to do is pick up a newspaper, turn on the TV, listen to the radio. As a young person today, it's a bit like a statistical minefield leaving school. It's been proven. 3 months ago, there was a survey by top 100 employers, and some quite scary numbers came from it. They said 1 in 3 young people coming into the door for work do not have the soft skills they are required for the workplace. So qualifications and academia, yes, they're hitting the spot, but the skills which employers are wanting, which are on this screen, good communication applies to written and verbal, good attitude, hardworking and eager to learn, realising they've got to put the hours in and have that hard work ethic and actually start at the bottom, be a team player but also have the confidence to lead, use their initiative and be proactive, take a risk and put themselves and push themselves out of their comfort zones is something which is constantly requested, and be emotionally robust, understand that not everybody can win and to sort of toughen up. So interestingly, when you look at enterprise skills, they align very nicely with what employers are wanting. So the key values which we work to on all the work we're doing with the schools network: honesty, integrity, emotional resilience, planning, being analytical, risk-taking, teamwork, social awareness, working under pressure, organising leadership, being proactive and being creative. And creativity, lots of people would assume it's playing a musical instrument or being able to dance or to sing. I'm not creative. But creativity comes in all shapes or sizes. I'm a businesswoman, I'm good at ideas, I'm good at problem solving. And for young people, this is what they enjoy doing and this is what employers are wanting. Some of the statistics for you without being too depressing. So we know that 1 in 3 students employers are receiving haven't got the soft skills they want. A record number of last year's graduates are still unemployed, with approximately 30% not being able to find work. We've just reached over 1 million young unemployed 16 to 24-year-olds. It's estimated for every single opportunity, whether it's a college place, university, a job, an apprenticeship, there's 150 young people going for it. And the increased cost of going to university means that 10% of young people from college age are not wanting to go to university. So looking at this as a graph, students are going up this vertical axis at a very, very fast pace. The world is changing quickly. The pressures upon them, social media, technology, and education, we're catching up. They've got the qualifications, they've got the academia, but we have got mind the soft gap. They are not leaving school with the soft skills which they require. So a meeting 12 months ago with the schools network, we said, let's tackle this at grassroots. What can we do to equip every single young person leaving school so they do have that toolbox of soft skills? When they leave school, they can go out there and have the skills which employers are wanting, to be able to present themselves, to be able to work as a team and to be able to lead. So ahead of the curve, my presentation, I think in very simple terms, we haven't got the time and we shouldn't have the position to be catching young people up. We need to be ahead of where they are, and we need to be ahead of the curve of where they're going. It's been proven, lots of people talk about enterprise and can be sometimes slightly judgmental and think it's a bit fluffy and there's nothing tangible, there's no results coming from it. And actually, results have come out now to show that that is wrong. We have seen a domino effect happening from enterprise work, from the Peter Jones Academy, from the Rod Aldwych Academy, The enterprising ethos does have a positive impact on academic performance, on all-round aspiration, on confidence. It can be taught across all subjects. It's not refined just to in a business studies room. It's about a mindset, and it's about equipping those young people for when they do leave the classroom, they can enter the world of work. I wanted to share with you a couple of quotes which have just come out from a fantastic report which was published in Global Entrepreneurship Week from Pearson. If anybody wants a copy of this, I have it on an electronic version. And it's, can enterprise and entrepreneurship education support jobs, growth and more? And the basic answer is yes. And you can read these quotes, very powerful, coming from the teachers who took part in the reports. And I think the bottom one for me really does strike a chord, that lots of our kids come from deprived backgrounds and they don't know people with aspirational jobs. Enterprise education might be the only exposure they'll get, otherwise they don't know what's out there. I work with a range of schools. I work with gifted and talented, I work with special needs schools, I work with NEET, and I often have particularly young girls saying to me, I didn't even realise young women could go to work because they do not have the role models at home. So very positive. So we know we should be doing it. The figures show that it works. It's what employers are wanting. Young people enjoy enterprise. So why are we not all doing it? It's not in the curriculum. Michael Gove removed it from Key Stage 3, 4, 5 when he came into charge. And there are some barriers. Culture in any organisation is the hardest thing to change. And we are moving at a fast pace. The world is changing very quickly. And to make culture changes, we need to make small steps. Conflict of interest. I recently started work with a Quaker school, and for them, enterprise was very much out of their comfort zone. It was actually from the parents requesting that their children did it, that the school wanted to make the change. But in their environment, money is almost a dirty word. So we've been working on social entrepreneurship. How can the students work with their community to make a positive impact? Sometimes people get landed with the job, you're doing enterprise, and they actually have no clue what to do, and where do you actually go and get some help, and that's what we're here for. And another quote from the Pearson report, a teacher who was just instantly dismissive and said she didn't want to be part of any money-making business or being entrepreneurial. I thought this was a really interesting slide, which shows lots of people talk about being an entrepreneur and assume that enterprise education means every single person has to go and start a business. That is not the case. It's not about creating thousands of entrepreneurs. It's about developing those soft skills, which we know people want. And this slide is a great summary showing the difference between enterprise education and entrepreneurial education. So enterprise, it's a very holistic, broad approach, develop soft skills, and you can do it with younger learners. I work with a number of primary school students who are sort of ages 5, 6, 7 on business plans. So students, we're having to catch up with them in some respects. I spoke to a set of year 9 and 10 students over the last couple of weeks and said, tell me about your world. I think I know about it. I'm 32 years old, so I'm hopefully not too over the hill. I think I'm quite young and hip. And they started talking to me about the pressures on them, huge amounts of peer pressure. They want money, they want jobs, they want celebrity, they want everything instantaneously, they want it quick, they like social media, they like tweeting, MSN, YouTube, and they expect instant results. So one of the things critical to young people, particularly when I'm going and working with them, is saying, who inspires you? Who do you look at when you're watching TV or picking up a magazine who you think, I want to be like them? When I'm having a tough day at school or I can't be bothered to go to school, you get out and you go for it. And whether we like it or not, I've worked with a number of schools this academic year, and these were probably the top role models which were given to me. So Cheryl Cole, Wayne Roney, Kerry Katona, Katie Price, Peter Andre, Stacey Solomon, Ashley Cole, and Kim Kabashian. These are the people who they look up to. And I think role models, having external people going into schools are absolutely key, because I think if you don't see it, you can't be it. One of the biggest mistakes I see schools doing with enterprise is setting challenges which they use their own value system So the teachers do something which engages them, they think is really interesting, whereas actually the people who are going to be taking part in the project are not interested. Successful enterprise projects engage students and it finds their hotspot. So for me, Dragon's Den, programmes like The Apprentice, being what I call OTT, off the telly, I will do anything it takes to get students excited. If a student recognises me from a magazine or the internet or the TV and they're excited that somebody new is coming into school, I've got their attention, and then from that point on we work hard throughout the day. So never in a million years did I think I'd be working in the education sector. I left Bristol University with a science degree, and before The Apprentice worked in the corporate world, in the health and beauty sector, working for L'Oreal, Colgate, Superdrug, before taking a big risk and taking part in the 2008 series of The Apprentice. And I suppose since then, I'm dubbed lots of nicknames, a Rottweiler being one for being very tenacious, but lots of my students call me Enterprise Mother Hen. My whole day, life evolves around working with young people and enterprise and entrepreneurship. My business brain as an entrepreneur, this is my business, School Speakers, which I kept on finding teachers wanting to find speakers to come into school to talk about all different subjects, go to award ceremonies, science days, creativity days, and not being able to find good people. So I saw that opportunity, set up an agency, and now I've got 165 speakers working across the country. And in fact, we've got lots going into schools today. 2 years ago, I started my first social enterprise. Didn't even know what the word social enterprise meant. And if anybody in the audience isn't clear on what a social enterprise is, as long as you are making money, you're profitable, and you're benefiting people, you've got a social enterprise. And working a lot with teenage girls, I kept on thinking, what is the problem here? 10 years ago, I was in their position, 17, 18, and the world has changed very fast. Celebrities, a big influence on teenage girls, celebrity magazines, reality TV, and all these stats which are growing, so cyberbullying, drinking, teenage pregnancies, etc., are being driven by teenage girls. So instead of just talking about it, I set up Girls Out Loud with a couple of colleagues, and it's been incredibly successful. We've just launched our mentor scheme called Big Sister. The biggest mentor scheme in America is called Big Brother, Big Sister, and we're replicating it in the UK. We've launched it in the north of England with great success, and it's now going to be rolling out across the country. And then in November of this year, on the 1st of November at 5 o'clock, we launched Teen Biz, and that is the country's first startup scheme for teenagers. And by 7 o'clock, we had our first application. We've been open for 30 days, and we've had over 150 applications. And this was born out of frustration that I was constantly working in schools across a number of schemes, encouraging young people to start a business, seeing some very talented next Alan Sugars, next Richard Bransons, and being told until you're 18 you can't do anything. You can't get a business bank account unless your parents sign for it, you can't get any funding, you can't get any help, and I think that is completely wrong. So we've started, and over the next 3 years we're going to be creating 100 entrepreneurs. So, enterprise initiatives. There are the good, the bad, and the ugly, and these are a number which I've been working on. From working with girls' schools on pushing the boundaries, to the last initiative when Enterprise UK was alive, we handed out £400,000 of £10 notes with Peter Jones across the country. I've just become the president of Young Chamber, and we've launched Fifth Matrix, which is a fantastic careers platform, a bit like Facebook or Twitter for young people, so they understand how to use it, and it's free to schools. So if anybody wants to sign up to that, Young Chamber are here at the conference, and you can sign up to get that for your school, and it's free. Prince's Trust Million Makers, Global Entrepreneurship Week, which as we've just completed, was November the 14th, and next year it's November the 12th. And there's a big campaign we do with primary schools called £5 Blossom. But the biggest, and the one which I'm most excited about, is Go Global. And Go Global started as a conversation over a coffee with the schools network, and it was a commitment of, let's just do this. No talking, let's just start doing. And we've now committed to a 5-year enterprise plan. Go Global is all about creating social entrepreneurs, so teaching students about enterprise, giving them the soft skills which we know which they need when they leave schools, and giving them a social awareness. It's not about making millions of pounds or big businesses and profit. That would be fantastic if they did it. But it's about empowering those students to understand the effect what they can have on their community and making them think outside of their school, outside of their street, and thinking about the global perspective. Every single teenager uses the internet, according to research, for up to 7 hours a day. They're accessing sites across the world, and sometimes their mindset can be so blinkered. So Go Global is about opening those doors and giving them the power to go out there and believe in themselves. We started in July, and we've had a phenomenal response. We go to schools who host us, and we have different schools coming from across the region, and we have up to 100 students per event. This shows you where the roadshow has gone. We were in Hartlepool this week. Next week we're in Liverpool or London. And it's been really interesting spending so much time with students and asking for their feedback. Because the teachers are not in the room, so to speak, they can just be very honest with us and give us some really good feedback. We asked them, what is your school doing to support enterprise? And you can see the sliding scale here. I'd say most of them did say nothing. Enterprise days, competitions, student-run events such as discos, movie nights were very popular, or non-uniform days. Lots of schools are now starting to have an in-school business, so a student business run by students for students, so you start to build that longevity. And then some schools, every day is enterprising. It comes from the top down, throughout, from the head to the staff to the whole students, that every single part of the school, every single subject is enterprising. So we asked them at the end of each day, what had they learnt? And throughout the day, we're working on a series of business challenges, because when they go back in school, the initiative is to raise money for a charity called Room to Read. And as part of today, you'll be seeing a video which will explain about the whole programme. But Room to Read was set up by a gentleman called John Wood in America. He left Microsoft to set up a charity to encourage more people to read for all the hundreds of millions of people who are illiterate. So the students see other students across the world who don't have books, who don't have libraries. And our aim over the next 5 years is to build 9 schools for Room to Read across Sri Lanka, Laos and Nepal. And each school costs approximately £25,000. So that sounds a huge amount of money, but when you break it down into per student, per school, it's an achievable feat for us to do. So aside from Room to Read and raising lots of money to build libraries, these are the skills which the students have gained. New skills, the importance of social awareness, knowing that they can make an impact. And often with young people, you have to hit them over the head to make them do anything. They actually want to do it. They leave the day and they're buzzing and say, how can we actually get involved? And they can't wait to go back into school with an assembly pack to tell everybody else what they've been doing. They work in mixed teams. So, of course, they arrive as their school set and sit with their little clique, and straight away we change that. And, yes, they're out of the comfort zones, but life isn't about working with your friends. And the feedback is always very positive that they've enjoyed meeting new people, helping others, working to deadlines, presentation skills. Every single person presents throughout the day with no paper. We call it the paper striptease when people read from notes. They work under pressure, and every single student who's left the day has said they've got more confidence, which is fantastic. We've asked them all to rate the day, so 1 being excellent and 5 being poor, and all of them so far have given it an excellent. So my plea to every person in this room, if you've come from a school and you've got authority where you can make Go Global happen, please, can we come to your school? Could you be a host for us? Or would you like to come to one of our days? We're going across the country. We've got lots of dates set for the next 2 years. So please, if you do want to take part in the roadshow, I'll give you the contact details. The prizes are constantly evolving. So in round 1, this is the winning school, Cheerwell from school in Oxford, who are possibly the most enterprising school I have met in the country. They did a cake sale to initially raise their funds, and then they are putting on an event in Oxford Library, which is a world-famous library, and selling tickets to people for £40. They're also selling other products within schools. They've contacted all the other local schools. They've contacted all the primary schools. There's over 1,500 students involved in the project, and they're aiming to raise £3,000. So their prize was for me to go visit their school, so I'm going to see them in January. very competitive school. And then the runner-up school from round one was Aylsham High in Norfolk. Now, Norfolk, they've got a food called Sit-a-Slow, which is a very slow cooked food, I believe. And they've developed a calendar of 12 local celebrities who've written their recipes and what it means to them. And they've printed those calendars and selling them for £4. And again, they want to raise over £3,000. So great entrepreneurial spirit. That's the Go Global team contact details. Angelina Adams is the lead on the project, Kim, myself, or you can tweet us. So if anybody does want to run a Go Global day, we'd be absolutely delighted to come and see you. Thank you for listening. I'm going to be here for the next 3 days talking on different sessions, and if anybody would like to speak to me, you can tweet me, you can contact me, and enjoy your conference. Thank you very much.